Okay, is it working now? Okay, is it working now? Fucking hell, man! YouTube. Oh my God! I am going to rant. I am going to rant. I am. YouTube has changed everything. Ah! Hey everybody, I'm sorry. A lot of people, if they have, a lot of people are going to probably start their stream off late today. YouTube have changed the entire, if you are a YouTuber, right? I need to warn you, if you are a YouTuber, YouTube has completely changed the entire platform of streaming. You can't do go live anymore. You have to go through the RTMP from now on. Oh my God, this is. By the way, guys, my website is still up and running. By the way, I just want to let you guys know that. Okay. At treeoflogic.com. Let me make sure. Let me go check first. Hold on a second. Make sure you guys are watching everything. Okay, you're watching everything. You're watching what you need to be watching. All right, hold on. Let me go to TreeHouse News. That was stressful. That was freaking stressful. Hold on a second. Let me go to my website and see if it's still on. Let me see. Oh, shoot, you're right. Hold on. You're right. My website is, you know what? It's, oh, freak! You know probably why it's not working, because YouTube has changed everything. So, okay, I guess we're all gonna have to stay on, hold on a second. Hey, Randall, hold on a second. I'm about to make some rules. Hold on a second. Where's that YouTube chat at? Okay. Hold on a second. Randall, let me make Randall. I am tired. I don't know what excuse you gave me, but I am tired of putting you as a moderator. You need to keep, listen. This is my last time making you a moderator in the YouTube chat. This is the third time I had to do this. And it won't let me add you as moderator. What's going on? Okay. In reference to everybody telling me about King Face, here's the deal. Unless you all give me proof that he is dead, STFU. Do you hear me? The same people that told you that he was in the hospital are the ones who's like, he dead, King Face dead. And then I'm going, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof? We'll find out, won't we? But until you guys provide me proof, I'm not interested in hearing your conspiracy theories. The whole time, you know what? Oh my God, I can't make Randall a moderator. Okay, well, it looked like Revenue and it looked like Revenue and Freedom Work are the only ones that can do it in here then. But anyway, as I was saying, I don't want to hear it. So here are the rules. Anybody come up in here talking about some RIP King Face, don't put them in timeout. Just delete the message and tell them we don't do conspiracy theories up in here. If they do it again, put them in timeout. All right? I want you to understand. You are talking about my enemy. That you think I would allow that with Candace? Okay. So I don't care what a whole bunch of Twitter Negroes are saying. I can't fake that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. My thing is, I want to see the death certificate. If you don't show me no death certificates, I am not interested in hearing your conspiracy theories. So don't bring that crap into my freaking chat. I hope we have made ourselves clear, okay? We don't deal with no. This was one of the biggest things that make me angry about black folks. And you're so new. I'm gonna say this one last thing, and we're not gonna discuss this anymore. You know what I hate? I hate when people are like talk bad about someone that you hate, that was not a good person, and all of a sudden you hear, once again, you hear that person has died, and now you're like, oh, R.I.P., may he be one with Jesus. He was such a good baby, man. He was such a good person. Oh, I pray for him and his family. You new Negroes. I can't stand that. I can't stand that. That's like David Duke passing away and me getting on Twitter talking about something. Oh, R.I.P. David Duke. You was such a good man. I wish nothing but peace and kindness for his family. You guys gotta you just trip me out. I'm over here like looking at these didn't do's and like, oh well, you shouldn't have been committing the crime, Negro. And then I'm like, oh, all right. First of all, like I said, I don't believe it. And until somebody show proof, I'm still not gonna believe it. I'm still not gonna believe it. So don't put that stuff in my chat. First of all, you put it in the chat of somebody who don't like him or her. Okay? So, whatever. Like I said, if I don't see it, here's what you need for Tree of Logic. Because death certificates are public information. That's public. All I got to do is pay for the processing fee and them mailing it to me. That's all I got to pay for. That's all I got to pay for. I know his name. I know his date of birth. We will find out, won't we? We will find out, won't we? We will find out. All right. How y'all doing? I don't know what you did, Randall, to not get moderated. What did you do? Did you tell me why? Did you tell me why I have to mod you again? Well, I can't mod you now. Hi, Taters. How y'all doing? Hey, Caro, make that the last time you post that crap in my chat again, okay? You see what I'm saying? Everybody come up in here and tell me, P. He ain't dead. Don't put no conspiracy theories up in my chat. You know what I probably have to do? I know what I'm going to do. I know how to solve this. Hold on. Hold on. I know how to solve this once and for all. Hold on. I'm about to take care of this real quick. Hold on a second, guys. Mods handle. Uh-oh. Is it on? Hold on a second. I don't hear anything.
My name is Janet Brown. I'm Executive Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates, and I'd like to welcome you to the first presidential debate of 2020. There are a lot of people who have made extraordinary contributions to making this evening possible. And in a few moments, you will hear from two of our co-chairs to start the appreciation to those who have helped. Our third co-chair, Dot Ridings, is in Louisville,
Entropy is gone. Entropy is not
her
working.
Leadership in debates goes back to 1976 and includes the presidency of the League of Women Voters. The CPD is the beneficiary of 33 years' worth of people who have been willing to put their name on our work. To all of those former presidents and chancellors of debate sites, to former moderators, to members of our Debates International network who have set their clocks to 3 a.m. tomorrow morning to tune in live, we thank you with all our hearts. In 1987, Paul Kirk and Frank Fahrenkopf co-founded the CPD. I'd like to introduce the co-chair, Frank Fahrenkopf, and his colleague are also our co-chair, Ken Wallach, to start this part of the program.
I did.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Health Education Campus, Case Western Reserve, and the Cleveland Clinic. And if you have not had the opportunity yet to go around and see this fantastic facility, you really should.
Oh, God.
It's just a great tribute to everyone who's been involved with it, and it's so important to our nation. To say, as Janet mentioned, that this has been the most challenging time for this commission in its 33 years of existence due to the coronavirus problems. So many people, as Janet said, are responsible. We normally don't come out when my co-chairman and I come out and thank people, but we wouldn't be here today if it had not been for them. As we serve as both the sponsor and the producers of the debates, we have a crew of 65 people, most of which have been with us for years. Some of them go back to the first debates in 1988. And thanks so much to United Airlines, who stepped up to the plate and graciously provided to fly our whole crew from one site to another throughout the rest of the term of these debates. So we have a great shout out for United Airlines. Anheuser-Busch has been with us for 28 years. As has
Okay, while they're doing this, I would like to thank my sponsors. Okay. We're gonna have a little conversation amongst ourselves, everybody. So let me just check in with my chat. How y'all doing today, chat? Listen, entropy is not working. So disregard where it says join my chat at treeoflogic.com. Just disregard that, because today, out of all days, it looks like YouTube decides to freaking change the format. Is the circle jerk really necessary? Is the circle jerk really necessary? Well, that's what they got to do. They got to thank their sponsors. They have to thank their sponsors. They got to thank the people who pay them. But I put them on mute, so I don't want to hear it. YouTube that's why I was late, because y'all know me, I was always on time. No, the entropy is not working because YouTube changed the coding. Okay? And because YouTube, Big Bobster, hi baby, how are you, booty bear? Hi. That's my original tater right there. Listen, the thing about it is that Facebook has changed a lot. And so, thank you, Nestor. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And so, because it changed, did I say Facebook? YouTube has changed their coding because I had to go through a different route even to upload today. So, people's OBS and their XSplit is not going to work like it used to work. So, I had to actually go through the RTMP in order to show this. It was a headache, but at least I'm smart enough to know how to go through these things personally. So anyway, hey everybody, this is Tree from the TreeHouse News. Welcome to my website. To my YouTube channel. I am so sorry that we started about a couple of minutes late because, like I said, YouTube has totally changed the platform. So we are watching the debates from Fox News. As you can see here, it's got the little Fox thing right there. They go Fox News. And the debate is going to start at 9 o'clock. So what they're doing is, right now, what they're doing is they are thanking their sponsors and this, that, and the other. So there you have it. Yeah. So I hope everybody is having fun. And I see you guys talking in it. What are y'all talking about astrology for? What is this? Everybody's putting up signs on their astrology. Okay. Can you sing the Black Happy Birthday song? For who? You? Oh, that's right. It is your birthday. Happy birthday, Nestor. Happy birthday, Nestor. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Nestor. Happy birthday, Nestor. F-Pip! Oh my God! Look at this. Do y'all see how things going on? Y'all see what it is? All my original taters don't even come here until it's a fucking debate. They don't even come here. Y'all stop hating. And y'all know y'all love my lovely voice. Y'all know I can sing. Y'all just jealous. Y'all just jealous. Why y'all so jealous? It don't look good on you. Jealousy don't look good on you. Stop hating. Stop hating. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Stop hating. Yeah, you jelly. I know. Y'all are jelly. Anyway. All of my original taters are coming to the fucking live stream. You know what I'm saying? Yo Jorgensen 2020. Okay. Is that an inside joke? Oh God. What else was I gonna say? They're gonna start exactly at 9 o'clock. I am excited. I don't know about you, but I am fucking excited. I cannot wait for this to happen. So, all the haterade. Thanks, Tree. I love you. Thank you. See, I can do it. Thank you so much, Dan Nestor. Oh God. Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. Let's see. I turned the Streamlabs. Oh my God. Hold on a second. I gotta move it up. There we go. I put the Streamlabs in front. I turned it down so that you all can hear what's being said, but it'll still show. I guess I can have it on while we're listening to this, right? Hold on a second. I got so many fucking tabs open. Hold on, guys. Okay, hold on a second. Really? It's a libertarian candidate for 2020? I thought y'all was gonna go for Kanye West. I guess that was not gonna work. All right, so the Engaged Few said $25 donation. Thank you so much. The Engaged Few. In case I fall asleep during the clusterfuck, here's some shekels. All I ask is that you pretend I said something wildly inappropriate. Will do. Yeah, if you guys donate via Streamlabs, I've turned the Streamlabs on, but it's muted. so that when it's time for the debates to start, which should start in about 6 minutes, it will show what you're saying, but it will not. The sound will be off. The only sound that's still on right now is the donation. We'll go. It'll do the little fart thing noise here. So there you have it. What was I saying? I was going to say something. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Fart noises. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. This looks like it's going to be really good. I'm pretty ticked off that it started off with me with the fact that my the YouTube totally changed everything. Who's Kanye West VP? Jesus. I don't know who he picked for his vice president. Then he picked what's the crazy one who has a child that now is non-binary? Oh, come on, y'all. Elon Musk. I think he picked Elon Musk as his VP. I don't say, you know what? When you men have kids by these feminists and these liberal women, you deserve everything you get. You deserve to be taken to the cleanest for all your money. You deserve to lose custody. You deserve everything. Cause this is how you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn how to stop dealing with crazy women. And they tell you you're crazy. And they tell you that they're crazy and you don't care. I be trying to look out for you men. And you make it so hard. America the Great. I'm surprised they're doing the debates so late. I guess Joe Biden nursing home lifted the curfew for the debates. You guys are so funny. But yeah. Yeah, I heard that Trump asked to have Joe Biden's earpiece inspected. So there you have it. Oh man, every time I see Ivanka, I go, oh. All right, here we go. Where is my, okay. All right, now let me turn it on again now. Hold on a second, guys. Turn your mic on, Wallace. I can't hear him. I can't hear him. Hold on. Okay, that's not me. Mike Wallace's mic is not on. Our queen is rocking that black dress. I know. Does she look good? Okay, we're waiting for Fox News. We're waiting for Fox News to turn on the damn mic, y'all. I don't know why. Let me look at their live chat. Let me see. Okay, they're not having anybody in their live chat. Oh, come on, guys. Turn on the fucking... Hold on a second, guys.
Opinions either way.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Gonna turn on Chris
all
Wallace
right.
here as he's speaking.
I'm gonna turn up the volume now.
Okay, it's just not me. It's everybody, y'all. They just don't have the mic turned on. They just don't have the mic turned on. I guess whenever they turn the mic on, we'll be here listening. So, all that money for the debates, and y'all can't even learn how to turn the mic on. So we can't listen to what Mike Wallace saying because they had. Yeah, there are no sounds on at all. Congratulations, Fox News. You're messing up. You can't even have a freaking sound. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I'm checking a lot of the other, girl, you go with your extensions, all right? Ah, Kobe! Look, Kobe's over there. Kobe! Kobe, 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 Kobe. Ugh, next. Show Kobe. Okay, I guess we could look at Eric. Those of you who just tuned in, there you go. Okay, now it's on. Finally, they turned it on. Yes, lady slay. Oh, she got that thing covering her face. Ugh. Hiding all that beauty. That's just an abomination. How could you do that to that beautiful woman? All right, so I guess we're waiting for them to introduce Joe Biden and Trump. The sound is on now. And yes. So, no, she looks sexy in a duffel bag, but still, I don't want that covering her beautiful face. Okay? I like to see Melania looking very beautiful without a mask on her face. It's covering up all her beauty. Come on now. I want to see the beauty of her. So there you have it. You know, every time Melania comes on the stage, they should play Stevie Wonder's song, "Isn't She Lovely?" So, okay, do you guys think that Mike Wallace is going to cater to Biden and try to go against Trump? Because they all are being very gentle with Biden lately, and I'm like thinking like, man, I think Mike Wallace is going to be really, really nice to Biden and a little hard on Trump because Trump can handle it. Yeah, Wallace is not a friend of Trump. He doesn't like Trump, but he's not too hard on Biden either. So this, just because it's on Fox News does not mean that it's going to be, just because it's on Fox News doesn't mean that they're going to be in favor of Trump. So I hope Biden has this nice earpiece working, and I'm sure they gave him some new medication. You know they put Biden in all kind of medication, right? To make sure that he is a little alert. They gave him his Alzheimer's. They probably gave him a whole shitload of ginkgo biloba, because that's really good for Alzheimer's. And they gave him a lot of caffeine so he could be nice and, non-sleepy. Adderall, yeah. They gave him ginkgo biloba and Adderall. They give him the natural and the fucking medical stuff. They are not taking any chances on Joe Biden looking crazy. Now, I know a lot of people underestimate, they're like, oh, Joe Biden's going to look like an idiot. I got a funny feeling he's not going to look too bad tonight. I just don't think so. I'm just here for the memes that Trump's going to bring. That's all I'm here for. I'm here for the memes. Trump's going to bring some memes, and I don't think Joe Biden's going to look too crazy. They getting his walker ready too. knows it's 9:04. They're late.
Good evening from the Health Education Campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The commission has designed the format, 6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the 2 candidates.
Let's go!
This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic, which is serving as the health security advisor to the commission for all 4 debates. As a precaution, both campaigns have agreed the candidates will not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, no boos or other interruptions, so we, and more importantly you, can focus on what the candidates have to say.
Okay, let me get my
No
my
noise
sound
except
effect.
right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Okay. I'm getting my sound effects ready, guys. Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
How you doing, man? How are you? I'm well.
All right, I got my sound effects ready, guys.
Gentlemen, a lot of people have been waiting for this night, so let's get going. Our first subject is the Supreme Court.
Uh-oh.
President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong? And where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chris. I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate, we have the White House, and we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic, good in every way, In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of time after the election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding. She's going to be as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel that. We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they'd try and do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So we won the election, and we have the right to do it, Chris.
President Trump, thank you. Same question to you, Vice President Biden.
First of all, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to this, Mr. President.
Thank you, Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is, and that say occurs when they vote for United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is, because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now,
he
what's at
rehearsed
stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running on that. He ran on that, and he's been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which will strip 20 million people from having insurance, health insurance now, if it goes into court. And the justice, and I have nothing, I'm not opposed to the justice. She seems like a very fine person. But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing that's on the court, and if it's struck down, what happens? Women's rights are fundamentally changed. Once again, a woman could be pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. And that ended when we, in fact, passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have pre-existing conditions, and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election. If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February. All right.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as the say is concerned, people already have their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly, at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said a president and the Senate is elected for a period of time. But a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
He's elected to the next
during
election.
that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years. And the 100 million people, Joe, the 100 million people is totally wrong. I don't know where you got that number. The bigger problem that you have is that you're going to extinguish 180 million people with their private health care that they're very
That's
happy
simply
with.
not true.
Well, you're certainly going to socialist. You're going to socialist medicine.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number
White.
one,
I'll stop helping him, Wallace!
that what I proposed. What I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your party
is-
has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party
That is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine.
party is
and
me.
socialist
Right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now, here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way, the 200,000 people that have died on his watch, how many of those have survived? Well, there's 7 million people that contracted COVID. What does it mean for them going forward if you strike down the Affordable Care Act? And
Joe, you've had
pre-existing
308,000 military people dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military. So don't tell me
I'm
about
happy
this.
to talk about
And
it.
if you were here,
Look,
it
here's
wouldn't
the
be
deal.
200. It would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You didn't want me to
Get
ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't want me to ban
All right, gentlemen.
Europe.
Stop
Mr.
helping Wallace!
President, you would have been
Oh my
much later, Joe.
Mr. President,
Much later.
Mr. President.
You're talking about 2 million people.
You're not gonna be able
President,
to
Shut
do
up,
it.
Chris!
moderator. We are going to talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Oh my
Let me
God, he
finish.
keeps
The point
sucking on
is that
Biden's
the
dick.
president
My
also
God.
is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's on the ballot as well in the court. And so that's also at stake right now. And so the election is already
You don't know it's on the
begun.
ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because
Why is
you
it on the
said
ballot? It's not
you're-
on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the
I
court.
don't think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald, would you
And
just
you don't
be quiet
know
for a
her
minute?
view on Roe v. Wade. You
I
don't
don't
know her
know.
view.
Well, all right. Let's talk.
Oh my God, Chris
We got a
keeps
lot to
helping
unpack here,
Biden
gentlemen.
out.
We got a lot of time.
He keeps helping Biden.
On health care.
Look at
and
this
then we'll
shit.
come back to Roe v. Wade.
All right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a week after the election in which the Trump administration, along with 18 state attorneys general, are seeking to overturn
That's right.
Obamacare, to end Obamacare. You have spent the last...
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask
Go ahead.
my question, sir.
Good health care.
Over the last 4 years, you have promised to repeal and replace Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan
Yes,
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well, I'll
I
give
got
you an
rid of the
and
individual
when I finish,
mandate.
I'm going to give you an
Excuse
opportunity.
me. I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That is
big
not a
chunk of
comprehensive
That
plan.
is absolutely a big thing. That was the
I
worst
didn't
part of
ask you,
Obamacare.
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating him,
worst
not
part
me.
of Obama.
Let me ask my
Well,
question.
I'll ask Joe.
I
the
no,
individual
I-
mandate was the most unpopular
Mr. Vice
aspect
Trump is
of
so
Obamacare.
fucking
I got rid of
alpha,
it.
man.
And we will
Trump is
protect
taking
President
over.
I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your question. You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you signed a largely symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing
God.
conditions 5 days before this
Oh,
debate.
my
So my
God.
question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Fine. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against Big Pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it. So we're cutting health care.
What about
All of the
pre-existing
things that
conditions?
we've done,
He has not cut
insulin. I
healthcare.
give you an example. Insulin. It was destroying families, destroying people because I'm getting it for so cheap. It's like water, you want to know the truth. So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs, what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because
that's
they pay
good.
just a tiny fraction.
As I say,
of
this
what
is
we do.
open discussion.
No,
let
but
me
this
ask
is
you about,
big.
let me,
This
you'll
is
be happy,
big stuff.
Sir, you'll be happy. I'm about to pick up on one of your points to ask the Vice President.
Well, about
which is,
time.
He points out that you would like to add a public option to Obamacare, and
Yes.
the argument that he makes and other Republicans make is that that is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
will, if I can
sorry.
ask you the question.
Shut up, Biden.
It will
Not what your
end
party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option.
He's stuttering
the
already.
vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you
Number
agreed
two.
with Bernie
Number-
Sanders, who's
I
far
did-
left, on the manifesto,
When
we
you-
call it.
when
And that
manifest-
gives you socialized medicine.
Look,
Ooh,
here, I'm not
get
gonna
him,
let
Trump,
you know.
get
The
him,
fact
get
of the
him,
matter
get
is,
him, get
I
him.
beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you. buddy.
Pocahontas would have left
Well,
2
I
days
tell
early.
you-
You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do is
Super
hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to
With
make
what?
sure because
With what?
here's the deal. Here's the deal. The fact is that everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree.
want to
Hey,
make
wait,
sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has. You picked
You'd be surprised. Go
the
ahead.
wrong guy, the wrong night at the wrong time.
Listen, you agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders to the
The
manifesto.
whole idea.
Let him.
There is no manifesto. Number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr.
Number
President.
two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
He sure did
You
lose
just
the
lost
left.
the left.
You just
You
did.
agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
that's absolutely
folks,
agreed
do you have
to,
any
and under that
idea
plan,
what
you have
this clown's
socialized,
doing?
They call it
Mr.
Medicare.
Do you have any
President.
do?
Socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well,
President.
I tell you what, he is not for any help for people needing health care because
Bernie?
because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two,
yeah.
there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give
Number
them better
three.
health care at a much lower price
But-
because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he doesn't
is
know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a plan.
fixed it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as
single
you might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen,
Gentlemen, you
is
realize
no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare is no good. We made it better. And I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing conditions, but took away the individual
true.
mandate. Listen, this is the way it is. And that destroyed That they shouldn't even call it Obamacare. Then I had a choice to make. Do I let my people run it really well or badly? If I run it badly, they'll probably blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people, okay? I said, you got to run it so well.
That's what he's
and I
known
just
for.
had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive.
Okay.
Premiums
I
are
got
too
it.
high,
That's
and it
what his
doesn't work.
people- that's what
So
his people
we
said.
do want to get
No,
rid of it.
but it's
Chris,
an
we
open
want to get rid of it.
I
and
understand
give
it, sir, but
something
I have to give you roughly equal time. Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care. Of
course we do.
Please.
He sends out wishful thinking. He has executive orders that have no power. He hasn't.
How do we
lowered
get
drug
on
costs
health
for
care?
anybody.
Wasn't we
He's been
talking about,
promising a
the
health
court-
care plan since he got elected?
the
He
Supreme
has
Court-
none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man
See how
doesn't
Chris
know what
Wallace
he's
is a
talking
terrible
about.
moderator?
I have
He
one
let
final
them
question
skip the
for you,
fucking subject.
Mr. Vice President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the
Well,
American
which one
people
is
should
it?
speak. You should go out and vote.
He's not
You're in
answering the
voting
question.
now. Vote and let your senators know how
you gonna
strongly
pack
you
the
feel.
Answer the question.
Vote now.
gonna pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't wanna
you're a
answer the
senator.
question.
He's not
I'm
answering the
gonna answer
question.
Why
because,
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
the
You wanna
question
put a
is,
lot of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is,
justices,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is your,
up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
this.
unprecedented.
We have
I'm
ended,
not gonna give a list.
we have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment. wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe. 47 years you've done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject is COVID-19, which is an awfully serious subject. So let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people
let me get
have
rid of
died.
this.
Even
Hold on a
after we
second.
produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is, based on what you have said and done so far and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck. 200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. The president has no plan. He hasn't laid out anything. He knew all the way back in February how serious this crisis was. He knew it was a deadly disease. What did he do? He's on tape as acknowledging he knew it. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. In addition to that, what did he do? He went in and we were insisting that the Chinese, the people we had on the ground in China should be able to go to Wuhan
No, he rehearsed
and determine
this.
for themselves how dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out back in March.
Here we go again.
Exactly what
Wrong,
we should be doing.
wrong.
And I laid out again in July what we should be doing. We should be providing all the protective gear policy. We
Damn,
should be
Wallace, how
providing
long
the
you gonna
money
let
the
him
House has
talk?
passed in order to be able to go out and get people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the
Get out of your
Oval Office and
basement,
bring together
Joe!
the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
So if we would have listened to you.
You have 2 minutes, sir.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country.
No,
Wait a
sir,
minute.
It's his 2 minutes.
You
Shut
didn't
up,
think
Biden.
we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are dying. We've done a great job. The only thing I haven't done a good job, and that's because of the fake news. No matter what you say to them, they give you bad press on it. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press.
This is true.
Because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job.
Ooh.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you
done.
didn't do very well in swine flu.
Oh.
H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no economic recession.
Sir, you made a
There
was no recession.
You made a point. Let him answer it.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID? How many
Not
of you
me.
were in a situation where you lost your mom or dad and you couldn't even speak to them? You had a nurse holding a phone up.
Not
so
me.
You could, in fact, say goodbye.
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
Not me.
Far more people.
And,
you would have been
and by the way,
months late.
your own,
You were
his
months behind me,
his
Joe.
own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we
trust
Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
& Johnson, Pfizer?
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen, let me move on to questions about the future because you both have touched on two of the questions I'm going to ask. Focusing on the future first, President Trump, you have repeatedly either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words.
Yeah.
But Dr. Slaoui, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if I call them left, I don't know what I call
the
them.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slaoui?
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally available. Just like
He said it's a
Redfield.
possibility that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking
after
about when it's
that.
generally available. not when
Well,
it will
we're
be.
going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up. Logistically, they're all set up. We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day. They're going to be
This is
delivering
the
the
same
vaccine.
man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care
He
of it.
did not
This is the
say
same
that.
man.
Sarcastically.
That was
and you know
He
that.
did
I
not.
I would
Oh
have said
my-
sarcastic.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done
Oh,
by the
fuck
end
that
of the year.
vaccine.
But the distribution
I'm-
of that vaccine.
Fuck
will
that. I'm not
occur until
taking it. I'm not
sometime
taking
beginning
that
of the
shit.
middle of next year to get it out. If we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up the
You'll
Give
have
that
the
vaccine.
sooner
I want to
than
pick
that.
up
Give
on
the
this
vaccine
question,
to
though.
all
you
the
say
liberals.
The public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out.
Okay, that was
He
a
puts
decent
pressure
question.
and disagrees with his own scientists.
But you're saying you
Everybody
can't, or
knows.
Senator
And-
Harris is saying
no,
you can't trust the
No,
scientists.
well,
Yeah,
no,
she
you
did
can't
say
trust the
that.
scientists.
She did
You
say
She
that.
didn't say that. You can't
She
trust
did
the
say
Said
that.
the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled, will be
Yes.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to do. But there's millions of scientists, there's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people. And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and Fauci,
scientists that are in
and
charge.
By the way,
they will have
and
the vaccine very soon.
Let him finish.
Do you believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID? He still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February.
I really don't
and
give
he
a fuck
didn't
about this
even tell
COVID
you.
conversation.
He's on record as saying it. He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died. And a lot more are going to die unless he
I don't
gets a
know
lot
anyone who
smarter, a
died
lot
from
smarter.
COVID.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 37 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if you would have had, let me just tell you something, Joe.
Oh,
No,
shit.
If you would have
Oh,
had
shit.
the charge
Oh, shit.
of what I was put through. I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country. And by the way, now it's being built again.
See,
and
we're
it's
We're going to
going
get
up
to the
fast.
economy in the next segment, sir.
Okay.
It's going up fast.
Okay.
Look forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus has been handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the virus is handled going forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and schools. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is. You've got to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as with the sanitation they need. You have to provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
Tell it to Nancy Pelosi. And Schumer.
By the
Brian
way,
Schumer.
Frustrated.
Nancy
That's how you do
Pelosi
it.
and Schumer,
That's how you do
they
it,
have
Trump.
a plan.
That's how you
He
do it.
won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with him in the
Okay.
Senate.
Okay.
And he sits on his golf course. And I mean, literally, think about it.
You probably
All right,
play
think
more than
about
I
it.
do, Joe.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact?
Well, he wants to shut down this country. And I want to keep it open. And we did
he
a great
just
thing by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute,
Let
Joe.
him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second.
Oh.
He wants to shut down the country. We just went through it. We had to because we didn't know anything about the disease. Now we found that elderly people with heart problems and diabetes and different problems are very, very vulnerable. We learned a lot. Young children aren't. Even younger people aren't. We've learned a lot. But he wants to shut it down. More people will be hurt by continuing. If you look at Pennsylvania, if you look at certain states that have been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election on November 3rd.
I want to move on to another
Because
subject.
it's a
Good point,
political-
America the Great. Good
But
point.
those,
I
but
wanna
those
move-
states,
gentlemen, I
those
wanna move
states
on to
are
another
not
subject.
doing well that are shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
now.
respond to that.
Wants
President
to shut down
Trump,
the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer. And in fact, recently you have cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are okay.
of
You have
masks?
to understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an example, everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to. But I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rally.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
shoot,
I don't
hold on a
I don't
second.
wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest
Sorry,
mask
guys,
I've
I
ever
didn't know
seen.
the chat was
I will
messed
say,
Vice,
I will say
Vice
this.
President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if
He's
we just
so fucking
wore masks
rehearsed, he
between
don't even know
now-
where he
if
is.
everybody wore masks and social distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives. It matters.
And they've also
It
said the
matters.
opposite. They've
And
also said the
no serious person said the opposite.
They've
No
also said, well, look
serious
at
All right, I wanna
Dr.
ask you-
Fauci. Dr. Fauci said the
He
opposite.
did not
I
say
wanna
the
ask
opposite.
you,
He
we got a
did
little
say
bit
it.
more than a
He
minute left in
did.
this
Masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind.
He
said
sure
masks-
did.
I wanna
I'm okay
ask-
with
He sure
masks.
did.
I
I'm
want
not
to ask you
fighting
both
masks.
about
He
one
definitely
last
did that.
subject because your different approach has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
Outside, yes, sir, agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
Because nobody will show up.
people with
Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why you holding the big rallies? Why you not? You goes first, sir.
Because people want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
But Nobody
I'm doing
cares
a great
about
job
Biden.
as a
Disease.
president, and I'll have 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
for
not
hangars,
worried
and
about
we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issue,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference, according to the experts. And we do them outside. We have tremendous crowds, as you see. I mean, and literally on 24 hours' notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay. By the way, did you see one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. Put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I can't. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing in one another.
We've had no
or
negative
cheek to
effect.
jowl. No negative effect.
We've
Come
had
on.
no negative effect. And we've had 40,000
All right.
people
you want
at these rallies.
just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to move on to our next.
Yes, I would. He's been totally irresponsible the way in which he has handled the social distancing and people wearing masks, basically encouraged them not to.
All right.
He's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the
Nobody cares.
gentlemen? Can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
The
It's true.
economy
Nobody want to listen to Biden.
is, I think it's fair to say, recovering faster than expected from the shutdown.
Much faster.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K-shape. What difference does that mean to the American people in terms of the economy? President Trump, in this segment, you go first.
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. When the plague came in, we closed it down, which was very hard psychologically to do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is
so
too much.
I'm
One
so
person
over
is
this
too much.
topic.
Should have never happened from China. But what happened is we closed it down, and now we're reopening, and we're doing record business. We had 10.4 million people in a 4-month period that we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between drugs and alcohol and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening in some of these Democrat-run states where they have these tough shutdowns. And I'm telling you, it's because they don't want to open it. One of them came out last week. You saw that. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. They think they're hurting us by keeping them closed. They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can social distance. They can wash their hands. They can wear masks. They can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
All right. Your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery. What's the difference?
The difference is millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis.
You're a millionaire.
Another billionaires have made
is he a
another
billionaire?
$300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal, and he only focused on the market. But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing?
Oh, he's a millionaire.
This guy paid a total of $750 in
wrong.
taxes.
Sir, wait, no, sir, it's
It's
his
the wrong state.
Yeah, I understand. You've agreed to the 2 minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back? The fact is that
I reclaim
he
my
has, in fact,
time! I
worked
reclaim
on
my
this in a
time!
way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he became president. First one in American history. Secondly, the people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines, those people who have been saving our lives, those people who have been out there dying, people who've been putting themselves in a way to make sure that we could all try to make it. And the idea that he is insisting that we go forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America.
Oh, $9 million.
And he wants to open
That's
it up
okay.
more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of
Because
the
we're
America?
losing
You can't fix
money.
the economy until you fix the COVID crisis.
Wrong.
And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools. Why aren't schools open? Because it costs a lot of money to open them safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give the teachers and school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right. Your time is up, sir. We are going to get to...
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools, people want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down.
That's
They
right,
want their
Trump.
restaurants.
Take control.
I look at New York. It's
Take
so sad
control.
what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open. They want to get back to their lives.
People
They'll
want
be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want their schools open.
People want
I'm
to
the
be
one that
safe.
brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football. It was me, and I'm very happy to do it. And
All right,
the people
let's-
of Ohio are very proud of me.
Fuck
And
football,
you know how I
Trump.
found out? When he took a
Gentlemen,
phony
we're going to
ad.
get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But first, Mr. President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income tax each of those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in federal income taxes each
Was
of those
that
2
on
years?
the
I paid
original
millions
questions?
of dollars in taxes, millions of dollars of income tax. And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers.
Show us your tax
I paid
returns.
$38 million
Both-
one year. I paid $27 million
Show us your tax
one year.
returns.
He did,
I
dumbass.
You'll see it as soon as it's finished. You'll see it. You know, if you want to do, go to the Board of Elections. There's a 118-page or so report that says everything I have, every bank I have, I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good, and we have a very, I built
Sir,
a great
I'm asking
company.
you a specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you-
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand
return.
all of that.
But let me-
No, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a question. Will you tell us how much you paid in federal income taxes in 2016 and 2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not 750?
Millions of dollars, and you'll get to see it. And you'll get to
When?
see it. But let me just
Inshallah?
tell you, Chris, let me just tell you something, that it was the tax laws. I don't want to pay tax.
I don't
Before
care
I
about the
came
taxes
here,
either.
I was a private developer. I was a private business people. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges for depreciation and for tax credits. We build the building and we get tax credits, like the hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. You get a massive, which, by the way, was given to me by the Obama administration, if you can believe that. Now, the man got fired right after that happened. But
Vice President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond. Look, the tax code that made him, put him in a position that he pays less tax than a school teacher on the money a school teacher makes, is because of him he says he's smart because he can take advantage of the tax code.
I would take advantage too. Fuck taxes.
That's why I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts.
Oh,
And
shit. You definitely ain't going to get my vote.
And make sure that we invest in the people who, in fact, need the help. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. We've done things that you never even thought of doing, including fixing the broken military that you gave me, including taking care of your vets.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward, because, Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4 trillion over a decade in new taxes on individuals making more than $400,000 a year and on corporations. President Trump says that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the economy as it's just coming out of a recession.
Well, just take a look at what the analysis done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my economic plan would create 7 million more jobs than his in 4 years, number one. And number two, it would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth, because it would be about buying American. That we're going to make this federal government spend $600 billion a year on everything from ships to steel to buildings and the like. And under my proposal, we're going to make sure that every penny of that has to be made by a company
But
in
respectfully,
America.
sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate a significant number of the tax. I'm going to make the corporate tax 28%. It shouldn't be 21%. You have 91
What? You gonna raise
91
taxes?
companies,
Boo!
in the Fortune
No,
500
fuck
who don't
you,
pay a
dude.
single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it
Billions
before
of
when
dollars.
you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was
That's right.
your
I got
tax
it-
proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
You got it done.
Our economy boomed
And,
like it's never boomed.
The economy is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let me finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You would continue your free market approach, lower taxes, more
Lower taxes,
deregulation,
baby.
correct?
Not
Yes.
lower taxes for American people.
Yes, it is lower taxes to us, dumbass.
You talk about the economy booming. It turns out that in Obama's final 3 years as president, more jobs were created, 1.5 million more jobs than in the first 3 years of your presidency.
They had the slowest recovery economic recovery since 1929. It was the slowest recovery. Also, they took over something that was down here. All you had to do is turn on the lights and you pick up a lot. But they had the slowest economic recovery since 1929. Let me tell you about the stock market. When the stock market goes up, that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If you got in, if you ever became president with your ideas, you want to terminate my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty of companies that are already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice
inherited the worst recession short of a depression in American history. I was asked to bring it back. We were able to have an economic recovery that created the jobs you're talking about.
No, they didn't inherit that. They caused that. It happened during their shift.
He blew it.
It wasn't
He
booming.
blew it. He blew it.
It wasn't booming. It was the weakest recovery
Sir, is it
since
fair to,
1929.
is it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact,
COVID came in.
when there was record low unemployment before COVID?
Yeah, but because what he did, even before COVID, manufacturing went in the hole. Manufacturing went in a hole.
Excuse
number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you're on number 2.
No.
Chris. They said it would
This
take a
guy is
miracle to bring back manufacturing. I brought back 700,000 jobs. They brought back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
We did not
Quite
bring
standard fare.
Welcome to
I'm
the
the
Rust
guy
Belt,
that
baby. We
brought
got the
back
Rust Belt vote. We got the Rust Belt
We
vote.
brought back, I was asked to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. We brought them back right here in the state of Ohio and Michigan. He blew it. They're gone. He blew it. And in fact, they're going
Ohio
after
had the best year it's ever had last year. Michigan had the best year they've ever had.
That is not
Many
true.
car companies came in from Germany,
No.
went to Michigan, went to Ohio.
They're not
Look at
having
my
it.
And they
Biden.
didn't come in with you.
Mr. Vice
Biden like.
President.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done. He's done very little. His trade deals are the same way. He talks about these great trade deals. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected the art of the steal. We have a higher deficit with China now than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch.
All right,
Down
gentlemen.
Sure ain't. We don't give a fuck about
ate
China.
your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Barista
None of
to
that
deserve $183,000?
None of that is true. It's
really?
totally
Yes, it is true.
Mr. President.
Yes, it is true.
Totally,
President, please.
totally discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
Oh, wait, he didn't get
No, no.
$3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice
He got
Mr.
$3.5
President.
million.
Answer, Joe.
it is
Answer,
not
Joe.
true.
Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh.
President,
But, Mr.
it's an open discussion, please.
Now,
It's a fact.
Well,
There's-
you
it is
have
not a
raised an
fact.
issue. Let the
been
Vice
totally
President answer.
discredited.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Oh, Joe looks
My
bad. Joe
son
looks
did
bad.
nothing wrong
Look
at
at you.
Burisma.
I think he did.
and
Mr.
The only
President,
guy that
let
Oh
him
my
answer.
God, Joe looks like
He doesn't want to
shit.
let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
who?
And
The media?
By everybody. Well, by the
By the
media.
media.
No.
by our
Get back on the
allies,
subject
by
on
the World
Hunter.
Bank, by
He's skipping the subject. Get back on the subject on
by
Hunter.
everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
Get back on Hunter.
No,
Get
no,
back
no,
on
Mr.
Hunter.
I'm listening to
Even the
you.
people under.
He got $3.5 million from
testified-
Moscow.
He testified under oath in his administration. Said
Trump,
"I
don't
did
let him
my
skip the
job,
subject.
And I did it very
Keep
well.
on him,
I did
Trump.
it
Keep on him.
Who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the
fire
people who
them.
testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a
Some
good job.
because-
Trump,
people
stay
don't-
on him on Hunter Biden and
Go
Russia.
ahead. You get
Here's the
wait
deal.
a minute. You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this.
Oh,
Excuse me. This,
No. I'm Mr. President.
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President.
Joe.
that is simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We want to talk about families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already.
family,
No, let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote.
a fortune by coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go ahead,
government.
sir.
And that's such a.
they're right
No,
here.
Mr.
That's
President.
such
Every
a great.
single one of them lost
This
a
is not
fortune.
about.
Oh, this
my
is so
family or
great.
his
This
family.
is
It's
so
about
great.
your
Oh, my
family,
God.
They
the
didn't
American
put $3.5
people.
million
He
for
doesn't.
nothing.
That's not true. It doesn't want to talk about what you need. You, the American people. It's about you. That's what we're talking about
you
here.
should
All right, that's
Not
the end
about
of
here.
that's the end of the
Shouldn't have
segment.
taken the money.
We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a very-
President,
but Chris,
no,
can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No,
That's
He
a good
stood
thing.
up.
No,
he stood up.
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
threatened Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion. If you
You know what?
Absolutely not true.
doing it.
You're going to have
True.
gentlemen. I hate to raise my voice, but that seems to be. Why shouldn't I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal.
Good point.
We have 6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
And him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more
Well,
interrupting
that's
than
all
he
right,
has.
but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less
there's
than.
plenty.
No, less than you have. Let's please continue on.
Oh,
The
my
issue of
God.
race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President
hold on.
Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more
Then
for black
get the fuck out.
Americans than
If you
any
don't like it, get the
president,
fuck
with the
out.
possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president's ever said anything like that.
It is whose
Now,
2
second,
minutes, sir.
second point I'd make to you is that when Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was
Oh,
killed,
here we go.
there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. Look what he did. He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up a Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog whistle to try to generate racist hatred, racist division. This is a man who, in fact, you talk about helping African Americans. 1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And
Because
if he
these
doesn't do
niggas
something
don't-
quickly, by the end of the year,
have
1 in
pre-existing
500
conditions.
will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans. This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares
You
for
the
all.
savior of African
This man's
Americans?
done virtually nothing. Look, the fact is that
You're
you
not
have
even
to
the
look at
savior
what
of
he
black
talks
people,
about.
Joe.
You have to look at what he did. And what he did has been disastrous for the African American community.
I'm not black because I won't vote for you,
President
nigga.
Trump, you have 2 minutes. Why should Americans trust you over your opponent to deal with
He
racism?
did a crime bill, 1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir. It's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that. Because you look back at your testimony over the years, you've called them a lot worse than that. As far as the church is concerned, and as far as the generals are concerned, we just got the support of 250 military leaders and generals, total support. Law enforcement, almost every law enforcement group in the United States. I have Florida, I have Texas, I have Ohio, I have Portland. The sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement.
No, because
you
they
can't
hate the
even say the
police.
word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters.
Oh, get him,
and why
Trump,
aren't
get
you saying
him.
those words, Joe?
Yes.
Why don't you say the words law enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they
True.
won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago,
Communists.
if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day and they put up their hands and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order.
Oh, my
And I'll tell you
God.
what, the people of this country want and demand
He is
law and order,
kicking
and you're afraid to
ass.
even say it.
All right. I want to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice
No, it's not. Systemic racism doesn't exist.
In law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women.
Oh,
they risk their
no,
lives every
Joe,
day to
did you
take
say
care
that?
of us. But there are some bad apples, and when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do as President of the United States is call together an entire group of people at the White House, well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, to the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out so we change the way in which we have more transparency in when these things happen. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to George Floyd. These cops aren't happy to see what happened to Breonna Taylor. Most don't like it. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence and response
How about black
is
folks?
never appropriate. Never appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right,
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town
President Trump,
and burn down your
President
Trump,
stores and kill
get him.
people all
President
over
Trump,
the place,
get him.
and
That
you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful
protest?
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not, but
asking-
you say it is.
I did
President
not
Trump,
say
I'd
it.
like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that?
Get
to
him,
end
Trump. This
racial
is a good one.
sensitivity
This is a good
training?
question.
And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
There's no.
I ended
Oh
it because
no.
it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools.
Yep.
All
Yep.
over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is radical,
and he would know.
What is
oh, it's
radical
totally
about
racist.
racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person, you had
If you're
no
white,
status
you're
in
evil.
life.
That's
It
what they
sort
was
of a
teaching.
reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and, frankly, very sick ideas. And
That
and
white
really,
people are
they
born
were teaching
racist.
people
That's what they
to
were
hate our
teaching.
country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place,
White
and they were
supremacists,
teaching
yeah.
people to hate our country.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's just
Lies!
he's
That
racist.
is white
Here's the
fertility.
deal. I know a lot more about
You
this
don't
than he
know.
does.
Let him finish.
The fact is that there is racial insensitivity. People have to be made aware of what other people feel like, what insults them, what is demeaning to them. It's important to people know they don't want to. Many people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but it makes a big difference. It makes a gigantic difference in the way a child is able to grow up and have a sense of self-esteem. It's a little bit like how this guy and his friends look down on so many people. They
Like
look down
you
their
do,
noses at
Joe?
People like Irish Catholics like me and
You
grow up
call
in
black
Scranton. They look
children
down on
roaches.
people who don't have money. They look down on people who are of a different faith. They look down on people who are a different color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together. We can take this on and we can defeat racism
Vice
in America.
President Trump, sir.
During the Obama-Biden administration, there was tremendous division. There
Yeah,
was hatred.
true.
You look at Ferguson, you go to many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Frankly, it was more violent than what I'm even seeing now.
Yeah.
But the reason
This
is
is
that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these
Absolutely
cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime-
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow
Are you
it
in
and a little
favor
bit
of law and order? Go
yes,
ahead,
I'm
say
in
it.
favor.
You
Everybody's
asked a
in favor
question,
of
let him finish.
Law
He
and order.
loses
Law
left.
and
Let
order.
him- let him answer.
Law and order with justice, where people get treated fairly. And the
We
fact
are
of the matter
treated
is,
fairly.
violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down
He-
much more
he
in
had-
ours.
All right, we're
He
now.
is president of
Mr.
the
President,
United
you're going
States
to.
of America.
China, we
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every
you're-
record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble were Democratic-run cities.
That's
and
exactly
so-
my question.
Democratic-
There has been a dramatic increase in homicides in America this summer, particularly, and you often blame that on Democratic mayors and Democratic governors, but in fact there have been equivalent spikes in Republican-led cities like Tulsa and Fort Worth. So the question is this really a party issue?
Yes.
I think it's a party issue. You can bring in a couple of examples, but if you look at Chicago, what's going on in Chicago, where 53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200%.
St. Louis.
Crime.
Republican
It is
cities.
crazy what's going on. And he doesn't want to say law and order because he can't, because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country and they ran it the way he would want to run it, we would have our suburbs would be gone. By the way, our suburbs would be gone, and you would see problems like you've never seen.
He wouldn't know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
He would not.
So much
I was
better.
raised.
Go ahead. Wait a minute.
I was raised in the suburbs. This is not 1950. All these dog whistles and racism don't work anymore. Suburbs are by and large integrated. There's many people today driving their kids to soccer practice and/or to black and white and Hispanic in the same car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID. They're dying in the suburbs.
Oh my God! Here we go.
That's
That's all you got to do is go to COVID.
They're being flooded. They're being burned out because his refusal to do anything. That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
I do want to talk about this issue of law and order, though. And in the joint recommendation that came from the Biden-Bernie Sanders task force, you talked about, quote, reimagining policing. First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support?
It means.
Let me, if I might finish the question. What does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter call for community control of policing?
What I support is the police having the opportunity to deal with the problems they face. And I'm totally opposed to defunding the police officers. As a matter of fact, local police, the only one defunding in his budget calls for a $400 million cut in local law enforcement assistance. They need more assistance. They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down.
Unrealistic.
We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're
That's
talking
a lie.
about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about.
That is a lie. That's a fucking lie.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law support.
Look,
he has no law enforcement
that's not
support.
true.
Almost
that's
nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
Name one law enforcement group that came out and supported you.
Gentlemen, I think I'm going to take back the mic. And I want to get to another subject, which is the issue of protests in many cities that have turned violent. In Portland, Oregon, especially, we had more than 100 straight days of protests, which I think you would agree. You talk about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into riots. Mr. Vice President, you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is, as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now, have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland or the Democratic governor of Oregon and said, hey, you got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you stop the days and months of violence in Portland?
I don't hold public office now. I am a former vice president. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted, and anyone who commits it
but
should
you've
be
never called for the people, the leader. Excuse me, sir. You have never called for the leaders in Portland and in Oregon to bring in the National Guard and knock off 100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Here's the thing.
I sent in the U.S. Marshals to get the killer of the young man in the middle of the street. They shot him, and for 3 days,
President Trump,
Portland wouldn't do anything. I had to send in the U.S. Marshals. They took care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, his own former spokesperson said, riots and chaos and violence help his cause. That's what this is all about.
I don't know who said that.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said that.
She said that. And so here's the point.
Go ahead,
the point is that That's what he is, keeps trying to rile everything up. He doesn't want to calm things down. Instead of going in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody together.
Why haven't you
figure
done
out
that,
how to
Joe?
deal with this.
Why haven't
What's
you
he
done
doing?
that?
He just pours gasoline in the fire constantly,
And-
every single solitary
Okay,
time.
and to end this, button up this segment, I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir.
Go, Joe.
You
Go.
have repeatedly criticized.
Trump
answer
has
his-
helped it.
You have
Your statement.
repeatedly.
Wait,
you have
just one
no.
second.
You've been talking
You
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would
no,
love to
you know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to end it, and
you
we
know, if
would
you want to
very
switch seats,
We would very quickly.
We could do that, but
I'd
I'm
send in
I'm-
the National Guard. It would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay,
But they
good.
don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing
That's right.
extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups
Oh, my
and
God.
to say
Oh,
that they need to stand
They
down
are
and
not causing
add to the
riots,
violence in a number
Wallace.
of these cities, as
Oh,
we
my
saw in
God.
Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm willing
prepared
to do that,
specifically
but
Do it.
Well,
I
go
would
ahead,
say,
sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left
Thank
wing,
you,
not
thank
from the right
So
wing.
what are you
If
saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go
supremacists
ahead.
and
Who would
right
you like me to
supremacists.
condemn?
White
Proud Boys.
supremacists and right-wing
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
The Proud Boys are not white
Somebody's got to do
supremacists.
something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing
own-
problem.
his
This
own
is a
FBI
Oh, my
left-
God.
director
Wallace is
This
such a
is
full of
a
shit.
left-wing
Go ahead,
problem.
White
Go ahead, sir.
supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
you got it.
That's what his FBI,
Oh!
his FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well,
we're
then
gonna,
you know what?
No,
He's
no,
wrong.
we're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're
Everybody
moving.
gives you
When a bat
advice
hits
in
you
your
over the head, that's
administration.
not an idea.
Everybody in
Antifa
your
is bad.
administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas that are
Antifa is a dangerous
All right,
radical
gentlemen, we're
group.
now moving on to the Trump
And
and
you ought to be
Biden
careful with
records.
them. They'll overthrow you.
When
in
a
2
president,
seconds.
I'm going to ask a question. When the president seeks a
Joe
second
Biden
term,
just defended out
it is
Antifa.
generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, "Don't compare me to the Almighty, compare me to the alternative." And in this case, sir, you are the alternative. Looking at both of your records, I'm going to ask each of you, why should voters elect you president over your opponent? In this segment, President Trump, you go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never been an administration or president who has done more than I've done in a period of 3.5 years. And that's despite the impeachment hoax. And you saw what happened today with Hillary Clinton, where it was a whole big con job. But despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight both flanks and behind me and above, there has never been an administration that's done what I've done. The greatest, before COVID came in, the greatest economy in history, lowest unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling and they were saying, it's time maybe. And then what happened? We got hit, but now we're building it back up again. A rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval rating at the VA, our vets. We take care of our vets. But we've rebuilt our military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people say maybe the most important. By the end of the first term, I'll have approximately 300 federal judges and Court of Appeals judges, 300, and hopefully 3 great Supreme Court justices. That is a record, the likes of which very few people, and you know one of the reasons I'll have so many judges? Because President Obama and him left me 128 judges to fill. When you leave office, you don't leave any judges. That's like, you just don't do that. They left 128 openings, and if I were a member of his party, because they have a little different philosophy, I'd say if you left us 128 openings, you can't be a good president, you can't be a good vice president. But I want to thank you because it gives us almost, it'll probably be above that number by the end of this term.
Thank you, sir.
300 judges, it's a record.
Looking at both your records, why should voters elect you president as opposed to President Trump?
this
You have 2
president-
minutes uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker, sicker, poorer, more
Projection.
divided,
Projection.
more violent. When I was vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy, and he caused the recession. With regard to being weaker,
Lies.
the fact is that I've gone head-to-head with Putin and made it clear to him we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin
Your
about
son
the
got
bounty
paid
on the
millions of
heads
dollars
American
because of
soldiers.
Putin.
Your son got
No,
$3.5 million.
That's right.
Thank you.
And
Get
by
him,
the way,
get him,
Mr.
Trump.
My
Get him,
son-
Trump.
Wait a
Get
minute.
him, Trump.
Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word. Can you add
No,
back
no,
He's
I'm
a
not
person
asking.
that's
That was a
not
rhetorical question.
Can you
Go
add
ahead,
back
sir.
30 seconds?
Yeah,
Because-
yes,
okay.
you may have.
Reclaim my time.
So, thirdly, we're poor. The billionaires have gotten much more wealthy by a tune of over $300 to $400 billion more just since COVID. You in the home, you got less. You're in more trouble than you were before. In terms of being more violent, when we were in office, there were 15% less violence in America than there is today. He's president of the United States. It's on his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and being and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking
We
about.
talking about
I
Hunter.
know Bo. I know
We
Hunter.
talking about
Hunter got
Hunter.
Hunter got
We talking
thrown
about
out of the
Hunter.
military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. And once you
None of
became
that
vice
is
president,
true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made a
son,
fortune.
my son,
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why
I'm
was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right.
But
dollars?
he wasn't given
All right.
tens of millions
was
of dollars.
given
That
tens
is
of
totally,
millions of
that's been
dollars.
totally
President Trump,
discredited.
you've already been
Totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial
So do I.
subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a,
I know,
a
but when
judgment call
somebody
here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay, great.
from the
Let's talk
mayor
about-
of Moscow,
let's talk
That is
about-
not
I think
true.
it's a terrible
That
thing.
report is totally
Why did he get
discredited.
it?
I
Mitt
think,
Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers'
Gen-
money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
you know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
No.
The forest fires in the West are raging now. They have burned millions of acres. They have displaced hundreds
Fucking
of
Wallace.
thousands
He's
of
so-
people.
I knew he was gonna
When
be
state
bad.
officials
I
there
knew he
blame
was
the
gonna be a
fires
bad
on climate
moderator.
change, Mr. President, you said, I don't think the science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord. You have rolled back a number of Obama environmental records. What do you believe about the science of climate change, and what will you do in the next 4 years to confront it?
I want crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now, we are doing phenomenally. But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors are loaded up with trees, dead trees that are years old, and they're like tinder, and leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette in there, the whole forest burns down. You've got to have forest management.
What do you
You've got to have
believe?
cuts.
What do you believe about the science of climate change, sir?
I believe that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate air, immaculate water, and do whatever else we can that's good. You know, we're planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very
Do you
exciting
believe
for a lot of people.
that human pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of
I
this
think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests. Every year, I get the call,
Americans don't care
California's
about
burning.
this. I don't know why they
California's
debating on
burning.
this.
If that was cleaned, if you had forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't be getting those calls. You know, in Europe, they live their forest cities. They're called forest cities. They maintain their forests. They manage their forests. I was with the head of a major country. It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, you know, at some point, you can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground.
But, sir,
That's burning down because of a lack of management.
But, sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's happening is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car, and you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by $3,500.
In the case of California, they've simply ignored
No, but you would take a lot of cars
roadmap.
off the market because people would be able to afford a car. Now, and by the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me, many people. The car has gotten so expensive because they have computers all over the place for an extra little bit of gasoline. And, and I'm okay with electric cars, too. I think I'm all for electric cars. I've given big incentives for electric cars. But what they've done in California is just crazy.
Right. Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2 trillion in green jobs. You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity
Biden
by
has
2035,
cheat cards, by the way,
and
y'all, if
zero
y'all haven't
net
noticed.
emission of greenhouse gases by 2050. The president says a lot of these things would tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one. Number two, if in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act, I was in charge, able to bring down the cost of renewable energy to cheaper than or as cheap as coal and gas and oil. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America. They're going to move to renewable energy, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that we are able to take the federal fleet and turn it into a fleet that's run on their electric vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations in all of the highways that we're going to be building in the future. We're going to build an economy that, in fact, is going to provide for the ability us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they, in fact, are weatherized in a way that, in fact, they'll emit significantly less gas and oil because the heat will not be going out. There's so many things that we can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating millions of good paying jobs, not $15 an hour, but prevailing wage, by having a new infrastructure that, in fact, is green. And the first thing I will do, I will rejoin the Paris Accord. I will join the Paris Accord because with us out of it, look what's happening. It's all falling apart.
How?
And talk
That's
about
a
someone who
lie.
has no relationship with foreign policy. Brazil, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down, are being ripped down.
They're tearing it down.
More carbon is absorbed in that rainforest than every bit of carbon that's emitted in the United States. Instead of doing something about that, I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion.
Lies.
Stop tearing down the forest. And if you don't, then you're going to have significant economic consequences.
So you want to
What
give
about
away
the
money,
argument that
huh?
President
Okay.
Trump basically says that you have to balance environmental interests and economic interests, and he's drawn his line?
Well, he hadn't drawn a line. He still, for example, makes sure that he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that Well, the fact
Not
that
true.
it's all true. And here's
Talking
the deal.
about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or
Biden's-
$20 billion, as you said.
Biden's losing it.
It's
Biden's losing it.
$100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they want to
the
rip
Biden
down
plan.
Go for a
buildings
minute and then you can go.
and rebuild the building.
No,
It's the
that is
dumbest,
not-
most
that
ridiculous.
is not
where
the case.
airplanes are out of
minute, sir.
business,
That's it.
where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want to
true.
take out the cows too.
Not
That's not
true.
true either, right?
Not
this is
true.
this is a 100
Simply,
trillion.
look,
That's more money than our
is-
country could make in
that is
100
simply
years if we're
not
going.
the case.
All right, let me
will destroy
because,
our
because I
country.
actually wait a minute, sir. I actually have studied your plan.
Biden's
and it includes
medication's wearing
upgrading
off,
4
guys.
million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good
$100
paying
trillion.
jobs.
What, let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that.
$100
They-
billion.
The fact is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs. And these tax incentives to people for people to weatherize, which he wants to get rid of, it's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying
Guys,
now
that's a
to
lie.
deal with the
He's
hurricanes.
lying.
To deal with, by the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that.
That's
at all.
he did say.
You made it up.
And here's the deal.
You make up a
we are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. They didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen,
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. They all do. We're supposed to be good. And by the way, he made a couple of statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is
not
not
$20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
the Green
well,
New
you want to
Deal
rebuild every
is
building.
not my plan.
You wanna
Do you back
rebuild
it?
If he
every-
knew
You have to-
anything
wait, no,
about,
no, wait.
if he knew
Gentlemen,
He
anything
made a
about,
statement
Gentlemen-
about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did
Sir,
is he
you're done in
said
this segment.
he called
Mr.
the
Vice-
military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
He
did
said
not
it on
say
tape.
that.
He said
Mr.
stupid
Sir,
bastards.
please,
He
sir,
said it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that.
Play
to the
it.
military.
Play it.
Go ahead. Mr.
on
Vice
tape.
President, answer his final question.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rantings.
You don't remember much.
I'm having a little trouble myself, but and about the economy and about this question
Joe
of what
looks
it's going to
bad.
cost.
Joe
The
looks
economy.
I mean, the Green New Deal and the
the-
idea of what your
the
environmental
Green New
changes
Deal-
will do.
The Green New Deal will pay for itself as we move forward. We're not going to build plants that, in fact, are great polluting plants.
So do you
We're going to
support
build
the Green New Deal?
Pardon me?
Do you support
No, I don't support the Green
Oh,
New
you
Deal.
don't? Oh, well, that's a
You
big
let-
statement.
I support
That
the
is a big
Biden-
statement.
Radical left.
I support
No, you
the
don't.
Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which is different than what he calls the
Joe
radical
fucked up.
Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen,
You fucked up,
final
Joe.
segment.
You fucked up. You fucked
Election
up.
integrity. As we meet tonight, millions of
fucked up.
Americans are receiving
fucked up.
mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be
commies
that
are
this
gonna
will
come
be a
for
fair
you.
election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com. Decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security Director, and as well as the FBI Director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the resident desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen.
He's going to go after his second term,
so
Joe.
Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country is going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change?
This is way past 2 minutes, by the way.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
He left to a campaign pitch.
When I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it, too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country.
Yep.
There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen.
Yep.
The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done.
Yep.
But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud.
Yep.
And it's a shame.
Yep.
And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election.
Right.
In theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that.
Sir.
All run
Wallace,
by
let him.
Democrats.
Oh, my God.
All run
You
by
let
Democrats.
fucking Joe
It's
Biden
President
talk
Trump,
for 5 minutes.
You're going to be able to continue.
He let Biden
You've
talk
been
for 5
charging
minutes.
for months that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to
he
lead to
sucks so
fraud.
bad.
But in 2018, in the last midterm election, 31 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I don't think I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them. We don't like them. We don't like them.
But what
they
are you
throw
going to
them
do
out
about it?
left
There
and
are
right.
millions of ballots going out
What
right
you
now.
do
What
is
are
you
gonna
go
do?
and vote. You do a solicited ballot,
No,
and that's
I
okay,
know
or
your
you go and
complaint.
vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go
have
and vote. You go and
No,
vote
but
like
what I'm
they
saying is, what are you
like they
gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people?
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia, mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no.
This is not.
There is no.
This is
evidence
not going
of
to
that.
end
There
well.
is evidence,
Okay.
Joe.
This is not going
Vice
to
President
end well.
Biden-
5 states
In fact,
have had
go ahead,
mail-in
sir.
ballots for the last decade or more. 5, including 2 Republican states. And you don't have to solicit the ballot. It's sent to you. It's sent to your home. What we're saying is, they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by the time, by Election Day. If it doesn't get in till the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of counting the
No,
votes.
wrong. That's a lie. He's a
I
lie.
want to
He is
continue with you on
lying.
this,
love that.
Vice President Biden. because
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes
in
a
fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse
I
me.
know, and Chris
Vice President
doesn't
Biden, the
correct
biggest
him.
problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out because they have not been properly filled out or there is some other irregularity
No
or they missed
time-
the
no
deadline.
time
So the question I
stamp.
have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court with a Justice Barrett will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out.
They don't offer
that's
that,
sufficient
Joe.
to be able to count the ballot.
They don't offer
because
that.
someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you. That is totally legitimate.
They're not doing that.
When you
They're
have
not
80
doing
million
that.
ballots,
Gentlemen, I have a final
They're
question.
not doing
swamping
that.
our system.
You
know it can't be done. You know it can't. And already
All
there's
right,
been
so now-
fraud.
Mail service
Final-
delivers
wait a minute, gentlemen. In the
185
final
million
question
pieces of mail a
is,
day.
million
in 8
ballots.
states, we can keep talking.
It's
in
a-
8
it's a
states,
disgrace.
election workers are prohibited, currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and
Yes.
flatten them until Election Day. That means that it's likely, because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks.
Could be months.
Until we find out who the
Yeah,
new president
it's
is.
true.
So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that
We're
you
not
will
the
not
one
declare
rioting,
victory
Chris.
until the election has been
The
independently
left
certified?
needs to calm down.
President Trump, you
I'm
go first.
urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully because that's what has to happen.
Yes,
I am
good
urging
point,
them to
Trump.
do it.
Good point.
As you know, today there
Good
was a
point.
big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. And I am urging my
Shut
people.
up,
I
Chris.
hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am
Shut up,
100% on
Chris.
board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell
what-
you
what
what,
does that
from
mean,
a
not go
common
along?
sense,
Does that mean
I'll
you're gonna
tell you
tell
what
your
it means.
people to take to the
It means you
street?
have a fraudulent election. You're
And what are
sending
you
out
gonna do?
80
And
million
what would you
ballots.
do
They're
about that?
not equipped to. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
they cheat. They cheat. Hey, they found ballots in a waste paper basket 3 days ago, and they all had the name
All right.
military ballots. They were military. They all had the name Trump on them.
Vice President
You think
Biden,
that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you urge
Trump
your
is debating
supporters
two
to
people.
stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes, and here's the deal. They count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why was it not? Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established.
Take
Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race
I
in
asked
Manhattan.
you had an opportunity
Look
to
at
respond.
Carolyn Monroe.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what
Vice
happened.
President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal.
Neither do
the
you,
fact
Joe.
Is, I will
He knows
accept
what
it,
he's
and
talking
he will
about.
too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared, after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome, and I'll be a president not just for the Democrats. I'll be a president for Democrats and Republicans.
Lies.
And this guy,
I want to
if
see
in
an
fact,
honest
Okay,
ballot count.
gentlemen,
We-
you say that's the end of
Chris,
it? This is the
I
end
wanna
of this
see an
debate?
honest ballot count.
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University
You suck.
and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. The 2 vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will debate at 9 p.m. Eastern that night. We hope you watch. Until then, thank you and good night.
Oh, wait.
Thank you.
Man, Wallace was so bad. Let me see if Trump's going to say something. Melania! Go sexy. Oh, she got that pinstripe suit on with her little sexiness. She's so cute. Trump went against 2 people today. Okay, well, that's the end of that. I hated this because Trump was debating against 2 people. Wallace was doing more interrogating and not enough modding. The last part really made me angry because he let Biden do a fucking 5-minute campaign speech. It may have been even longer than that. Yeah, that was Kobe. Kobe! He let Biden do a 5-minute campaign, go out and vote speech. And then when Trump started talking and getting on Biden's ass, then that's when Wallace would interrupt. I did not like that. This was 2 against 1. Trump still won the fucking debate. But the thing about it is that, and then all of a sudden you can see that, you would see that Biden was beginning to power down. I guess his medication was beginning to, hold on a second, let me see if we can, hold on a second. I just wanted this to have it onto a part where they're just talking. But the thing about it is that Biden, wait a minute, where am I? Okay, we'll just keep it on Trump. The thing about it is that when Trump was, another part that made me angry was when Biden began to deflect from Hunter to Beau and talk about his dead son and not his fucked up son. His dead son was a good man, you know what I'm saying? But then he tried to conflate both sons. And Trump caught that shit. And when Trump caught it, that's when Wallace interrupted him and to stop him from talking. But the biggest thing that Joe Biden did that I was happy to see that's going to bite him in his butt is that he doesn't support the Green New Deal. He was adamantly saying, that's not my plan. That wasn't my plan. And then not only was that not his plan, but he also said he doesn't support the Green New Deal. Well, those people who try to convince the Bernie bros to vote for Biden, well, that just killed them. That just killed them. You know what I'm saying? That just killed those votes. All right? So the thing about it is that Biden said some things, and then he said that Antifa is an idea. Oh my God! He's worse than Nelly talking about something. Antifa is a myth. So now you're gonna say, so now we got who the fuck is believing that Antifa isn't real? This This motherfucker said Antifa is an idea. What? An idea to riot, to burn people, to shoot people in the chest and kill them? To burn down black businesses? Is that their idea? Okay. That's a good one too, Elizabeth. He says that he says that the Green New Deal creates jobs, but he doesn't support it. And here's the last thing I want you guys to understand that you should take away from this entire debate, okay? The Biden campaign insisted that they have fact checkers, right? Biden said a lot of false things. He said a lot of things that were definitely lies. So we're going to see if these very same fact checkers are going to check Biden the way they check Trump. I mean, Biden said a lot of freaking stupid lies. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he said that Hunter did not get in any money, he didn't get $750 million. Really? Really? Oh my gosh. Dude, I want to see them do some fact checking on Biden. Tree, will there be any polls who did better today? I mean, I can do a poll. We already know who did good. I mean, if you need me to do a poll, I can. Who wants me to do a poll? I mean, is it, I mean, I got it. We can do a poll just like this. Press 2 if you think Joe Biden won this debate. That'll take care of that. Press 1 if you think Joe Biden won the debate. I mean, press 2 if you think Joe Biden won the debate. Press 1 if Trump got that shit. 1 for Trump, 2 for Biden. We can do it right here. Then did Jasmine do -2? Yeah, see, there we go. I don't need to take no poll in this chat. We already know Trump. And Trump didn't do too many meme things, though, I must admit. And I told you guys ahead of time. I said, listen, Joe's going to be on some new medication, Adderall, ginkgo biloba. They're going to have that earpiece in his ear. And he came out with some notes. Did you guys notice that? He had some notes with him. He was in there just taking some nice, good notes. And I'm like, what the hell? So he had some notes with him where he was looking down upon that. Trump didn't have any notes with him. He was basically speaking off the cuff. And then if you notice, about I would have to say 75% through the debates, Joe Biden began to power down, and that's when he started stuttering and beginning real slow. He's very low energy. He looks like he's ready to go take his nap. Yeah, he just didn't look good to me. He looked very weak. And then when Trump asked him to name one law enforcement department that supports him, Biden looked like an idiot because Biden was like, we believe in law and order, and we got the police that support us. And then Trump said, name one police organization that backs you. And then Biden was like, cats. This debate was 2 against 1. Yep, exactly. Fuck Chris Wallace, exactly. It was 2 against 1. It really was 2 against 1. It was 2 against 1. Absolutely. Joe's eyes look black, but they're naturally blue. What's the deal? I couldn't see his eyes. It was hard to look at his eyes. They weren't close enough for me to see their eyes. I mean, this was just not a good one for me. This Trump did good. Don't get me wrong. But I knew, like, a lot of people were thinking because Chris Wallace was the moderator that he was going to be that because Chris was a moderator he was going to like work in favor of Trump. I was like, I knew that was a lie. Tree, I believe Biden was panicking a lot. I didn't see a panic. I saw him trying to control his anger. And yeah. I just saw him. Hold on a second, guys. I'm over here looking at my. Okay, never mind. I'm looking at my Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back now. But no, to me, it looks like Joe was reading. He was very rehearsed. Joe Biden was very rehearsed. He had his cue cards to help him keep on track. I didn't know you had to use. I didn't know that was allowed. And along with that, him being rehearsed, they probably worked with him for a month on this. Oh no, 2 2 weeks. They probably worked with him on 2 weeks on this. And then they gave him his cue cards and with his earpiece, along with the new medication he's on. It lasts for a good hour and a half, and then she started to power down. And I did not like the fact that he was uninterrupted for 5 minutes to do a campaign pitch, to look directly into the camera to his fucking audience and say, hey, you need to get to the polls, you need to get to the polls. I don't know. These people, I'm just so mad at Chris Wallace, dude, man. It was just like, if Trump can't even have somebody who's fair, who's also a conservative, dude, you know next week is gonna be. Wait a minute, when is the next? Oh, next week is Kamala Harris versus Daddy Pence. I don't know if I'm gonna show that one. I mean, that's on Wednesday. That's gonna be at 9 o'clock. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if it. I dropped my what dropped was my mirror. The batteries fell out of the mirror light. I have a mirror light, and it fell on the floor, and the batteries went all over the floor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a high demand. English muffin. Biden be on his vote for Patty or you ain't black tip. That's what I said. I'm not black because I'm not going to vote for Biden. No, that was a mirror. It's not even, the mirror didn't even break. That's a good mirror. I bought that sucker. I'm always dropping mirrors on the fucking floor, dude. Daddy Pence versus Strokeahannes. The daddy and the war. I don't think I want to listen to no Kamala Harris for 90 minutes. No, I don't think I'm going to do it. My show is at 6 o'clock. And it ends at 8-ish. And for me to come back on at 9 o'clock just for that, I don't see me doing it. I don't see me doing it. I just don't. So no, I don't see me doing that. I will, yeah, I don't see me doing it. I love me some Daddy Pence, but I don't love him that much to sit there through it out. This right here was even frustrating. It was so frustrating to watch Chris Wallace do a terrible job at moderating, and I'm kind of glad that Trump kind of bulldozed over him a couple of times. Yeah, I didn't like it. Hey, did y'all see Reverend Scott? Hey, little Sweet Lynn, you know who Reverend Scott is? Where's Laura? Where's Laura at? Or Lord Sweet Lynn. I think Lord Sweet Lynn knows who he is here. Yeah, I need to check that out on tomorrow. Which one? Okay, I think both of y'all. Okay, there you go. All three of y'all. Oh, look at y'all. Look at all three of y'all that wanted to get all together. Hey, did y'all see that Reverend Scott was in the crowd? So do you see that he has taken over Candace Owens' position? That was so cute. Got Laura Chamberlain, Unique Laura, and Lil Sweet Lynn all respond right behind each other. So I'm happy to see that because Reverend Scott hate that heifer just like I do. I think I hate her more though. The only moderator worse than Wallace is Ruben. True. You was looking at cute, sweet Eric Trump. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Ivanka, so I was happy for them to take their picture off of her and put it on to Eric. I think Eric and Barron are the only two children of Trump I like. So thank you. I'm glad you love my commentary. I was getting a little frustrated though for a second though. I mean, Chris Wallace is he was a bad moderator. Chris Wallace was a bad moderator. He was absolutely horrible. He was a horrible, horrible moderator. See, you guys was looking at his pupils. I couldn't tell. I couldn't see his pupils. So, I must admit that there was one more thing I wanted. There was one more point I wanted to make out that I saw. Biden did a dummy move. Trump stumped. Oh. So Biden. Here it is. Here's the other point. So Biden just flat out denied that Hunter didn't get money from the Ukrainian. Who was the person that he was supposed to get that 750? 3.5 million? Like, he just flat out said, that's not true, that's not true. It is true. Like, they even said it was true. Burisma? Yeah. Like, dude, they said they paid it. They even got the receipts. From the mayor of Moscow's wife. The only thing they could have, that's true. He couldn't yeah. He got him on that one, and it basically stumped Biden. It stumped Biden so bad that he tried to deflect by basically bringing up his dead son. Now don't get me wrong, his dead son was a very good man. So good that Hunter had to screw his wife when he passed away. If Trump loses the election, Candace's hubby will leave her by Christmas. Oh my God, you guys are so out of touch. Candace married a simp. And you men suck at knowing a simp from an alpha, okay? Candace's husband ain't gonna leave her. What the fuck, y'all? Listen, I hate that heifer, and even I know that he's not gonna leave her. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? Do you not know that this man did you not know that white man is a simp? He married her without her signing a prenup. She's pregnant. What makes you think he's gonna leave her? She's pregnant. I mean, listen, guys. I hate that bitch. I do. I hate Candace. But I'm not going to sit up here and tell nice lies because they sound good. Candace is rich for the rest of her life. And this is coming from somebody who hates the bitch. I hate her. She's pregnant. She's guaranteed to have her money and her child's money and everything. And the dumbass white boy, who's a fucking millionaire, did not make her sign a prenup. And y'all talking about he can't leave her? First of all, he's a simp. He ain't gonna leave her. But I'm like, how come y'all don't pay attention to the obvious? Yeah, he is. He's I think you guys can. I haven't looked at these in a while. You can basically fact check me, but his father is either a sir or a duke or something. He's a something noble of some kind of. He's something importance. I mean, she picked the right guy. She picked the right simp. So like, man, dude, nah, she did. Why don't you look up Tree of Logic versus Candace Owens to find out? I don't know why people coming up in here. His father is a lord. Okay, there you go, lord. He's not nobility. Okay, he's a lord. I knew it was something. I'm sorry, I'm a typical American. I don't know the ranking that's going over there in England. I knew it was something. He's a lord. Okay. English, the engaged few, maybe he'll leave her in a shallow grave. No, yeah. Can you guys stop speculating about Candace because y'all so off? Y'all are so off. Y'all don't even have a clue. That's how that heifer got y'all fucking goddamn shook and bamboozled. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you one. I'm gonna tell you something. And then I'm gonna log off because I gotta prepare for my for our relationship classes on my third channel. Let me just say this before I log off, and I want to thank everybody for your donations. This year alone has taught me that the masses are Carl. The masses are gullible and naive. And if you tell them the same lie over and over and over and over again, they'll believe it. Now I see why the left keeps calling the right racist. Because when you keep accusing somebody of being racist over and over and over again, after a while, they'll believe it. That's how come we have a fucking class called white fragility. That's how come we have people actually talking about some, what is the other word? Not white guilt, but, oh, shit. There's so many shit going on here, but thank you. Critical, that's when we have the critical race theory. Thank you, Jasmine. The critical race theory and white privilege. I am really shocked that people believe lies even if it's told. No matter how many times you say to me, Candace is a good person. Candace is I don't care how many times you tell me that. And I don't care how many years you tell me that. My intellect is saying you're a liar. But most people are not that smart and they will believe these lies. And today alone just shows me that people believe a lot of lies that are told to them. And you know why? You don't do any research. You're too lazy. You're so lazy and you just want to believe what is told to you without going to do any research yourself. And that's the thing that I realized, that grifting, people who get grifted, you deserve it. That's why I'm saying, like, people believe in all this stuff with these grifters and stuff like that. Let them get their money. I used to be mad that people was giving their money away for a lie. But then I realized every hoe needs a pimp. Okay? and every doormat needs feet to step upon them. And so it's the order of things. It's the order of things. Okay? No, there's no evidence for that, Danny. There's no evidence for that. Please stop spreading that lie. So today I have decided I will do my research about Candace. Now, trust me. Well, all you got to do is go to Tree of Logic's channel. All you got to do is go to my channel, Tree of Logic. I have documented all the bad things she has been doing since 2017. I mean, everybody think I should like this bitch who tried to get me killed, try to dox people. She tried to dox me to people who have locked up in jail for over 20 to 25 years, looking to kill me. And y'all expect me to be nice to that heifer? Once you're my enemy, I don't want nothing good for you. So that's that. Anyway, I have come and made peace with people being taken advantage of. Actually, I'm okay with it now. I think it's the order of things. I would try to fight to stop people being taken advantage of, but I'm not going to stop anymore. Let it happen. It's supposed to happen, and there's that. Okay? All right, guys. So, I am going to go now and prepare for my third channel. If you guys want to come along, you can. I think after this debate, I'm going to need something funny, and I must admit those live streams on my third channel are a hoot. I mean, mixing the girls in with the MGTOW guys, I have to admit it's hella funny. It's hella funny. They crack me up. And I'm gonna go get prepared for that because that's gonna get started. Y'all and listen, can y'all stop talking about her lips and her teeth and her nose this time? Okay, can we do that? Can y'all do that for me? Anyway, I will see you guys at 11:30 on my third channel. And I hope you guys stop talking about her lips this time. But we'll see. I don't expect you guys to be that good, but we'll see, all right? Can you get the link to the third channel? Yeah, let me give it to you. Hold on a second. These people, you guys are so funny. Let me see. Independent thoughts. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, where is the group? Okay, here's the link. There's the link. We'll be starting that at 11:30. It's pretty fun. It's not intense like what we had today. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Let me go set it up now because YouTube has totally changed the way the thing has totally changed the login process of how to live stream. So I'm gonna have to get used to that. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys at 11:30 tonight on my third channel. Thank you so much to everybody for coming, and also thank you for the super chats and the Streamlabs donations. Later, taters. See you tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6:00 tomorrow for the TreeHouse news. Bye.